Yeah, so we're from Pentaspace Design Studios. I'm Principal Architect Gaurav Sanghavi. That's Principal Architect Harsh Pote. We've had a long journey from college to now. Initiated the concept of Pentaspace in our college days. Established it in 2007 as a formal entity, and we're practicing residential, commercial, retail, institutional, hospitality, and we have a small research division which is looking at future housing concepts. The client is Kanakya Spaces. He is a renowned developer in Mumbai. When he introduced us to the site, and first he insisted that we should visit the site. So we visited the site with the client, and it was a very unique site because it was in the center of Mumbai with the hustle bustle of Mumbai, but still had this serene atmosphere around it because it's on a hilltop in Marol. And when we went there, so the client said that is the brief. This is what I want my end consumers to actually feel, that they are outside Mumbai. So I think we got the gist from there. Definitely the mandatory brief in terms of the market study, the areas, everything was laid down. But the overall feel which he wanted was just that site visit which we went together with the client. So this is a 4.5 acre site which is on top of the Marol hill, and basically on the east side we have RA colony. So you have the green, the lungs of the city, that's how we call it. On the south we have the Powai Lake which is facing this side. This entire plot was open on all sides with 360-degree views. So as per the brief, we had to capture the maximum view. And how do we do that? So what we did is that we started creating a sort of a grid, the axis. So basically this was the RA grid, and then we have the Powai Lake grid which flows through this. The idea was to create your built environment in between this mesh. So what did we do is, we started forming our built environment along the Powai and the RA grid. If you see, we had a bigger perimeter instead of a singular line which was the built-in mass. In the same length we could actually extend the perimeter. So all of this started looking at the RA. All of this started looking towards the Powai Lake. This building, which is at the top of the hill, became the most premium tower, which was the 3 and 4 BHK tower, whereas all of these were 1 and 2 BHK towers. Coming a little more into micro level is that there were 4 apartments to a building. So by doing this kind of a form, what we could do is we had zero overlooking between buildings. Second, we could achieve maximum cross ventilation because every flat had 2 side opening, right? So the entire concept was that we are looking at smaller homes, but when you get this kind of natural light which flows into your home, the space looks bigger. Second to this was that since there were existing trees, there were lots of rainforest trees, and that's where the entire project name actually came up, was the rainforest trees. So we had to make sure that we could replant the trees which are getting impacted in the development zone into the non-development zone. So we consciously, 50% of our site, which was on this side, went under development, whereas 50% of the site which was towards the RA side did not go under development. The first month when we actually put down these buildings in formation, all the plants from the development zone were replanted into the non-development zone, which is on the Mother Earth, right? So the idea was that this extends into RA. So it's a vice versa, it's a connection where the compound wall actually blurs and RA actually flows into your complex. So that is how the entire conceptualization of the layout was thought of.
It's an irregular shaped plot. With that challenge, we had another challenge, which was site was at 13-meter slope. So it was a contoured site entirely with lots of, you can say, rain trees. So when we visited the site with the client, what we wanted to do is that to get some kind of or some sort of a identity from the rainforest trees to the building. Somehow try to get the canopy, the branches and the sub branches of the trees to our buildings and get those branches manifest into our building so that they don't overpower the landscape around it. So when we started doing it, the detailing of it, it has this peculiar branches. Then we started again breaking it into a detailed portion, so how they would come into our thing. And then we thought that get them into the duct areas and certain canopies. These are like weather shades of windows. So the entire concept was to get these trunks, a shape of a trunk in a solid form, which will be a striking feature of the entire buildings. So as the name suggests, the rainforest, we definitely wanted to have touch and feel of a rainforest. So when the plan, the elevation, the entire recreational ground which we were supposed to develop in the rainforest theme, there were drop-off points where we created a large canopy areas, where those canopy areas are not like made up of glass or ECB, but which we did it in FRP, and it's in the shape of a canopy and it has a landscape rolling over it. So when a person gets dropped off, he feels that he gets dropped off below the tree, the shadow play happens. So that's the one element we tried to incorporate into it as a rainforest. Secondly was the site was contoured, so there were different level, different heights of lobbies were getting created as double height, triple heights. There were certain intricate details we carved on those things, which give the feel of it's a rainforest themed residential towers. Other portion was there was a clubhouse which we planned again on the higher plateau of the site. What we wanted a feel to clubhouse when a person enters into the clubhouse was not just a regular feel to it, but birds chirping in that region, sound of a waterfall, so that we wanted to give a feel. So what we did is that we planned the swimming pool, which is like an infinity pool, which is on the top of clubhouse, and the overflow of the water, we got it down at the entrance, so it solve the purpose of purifying the water also and a waterfall also.
The entire holistic approach is that all your senses need to be activated. It should just not limit itself to paper that there's a plan and there is an elevation, but the environment which we're creating on site and the person, the consumer who's actually going to be coming into that site should have that micro environment where he feels what is being told.